Till that Madison was nearly unheard of as a girl's name until 1984. In the film Splash, released that year, Daryl Hannah's character names herself Madison after reading a street sign. Tom Hanks' character tells her that Madison isn't a real name. In 1983 my aunt got a dog that she named Madison, named after the avenue. She said when she saw Splash on the Upper East Side, the naming scene made the entire theater laugh. Flash forward to 1990. Every time she brought her dog to the park and called for him, no fewer than 3 kids' heads would whip round to look at her, smiley face. It's a very out of vogue name in NYC these days, but I imagine she'd meet about 20 Madisons if she went out to the suburbs or down south. It means son of Matthew, I believe. I was doing genealogical research and I found that one of my earliest American ancestors, who was born in New England in the 1850s, was named Madison, and I thought that was interesting because although it's obviously an old surname, see James Madison and Guy Madison, and I know lots of girls and women around my age or younger with the name. Other than a particularly awful former NC congressman, I had never seen it used as a man's name before. Big whoop, it's trendy to name girls boy names. I've seen girls named Austin and Mason. Not many guys are clamoring for girls named Austin. Speaking of new trends guys are not clamoring for, TIL women are now letting their bikini lines and general pubic areas grow out and show it off in a bikini. HS teacher year, I was assigned 5 students named Madison spelled 4 different ways. Edit Madden, Madison. This was the repeat spelling, Madison. Also, Addison was assigned to me and Addison was on campus but not assigned to me. She was the girlfriend of one of my students. 1984, I was probably 5 by the time it came out on video. But I remember with crystal clear vividness watching Daryl Hannah run across Liberty Island. Every jump of the tracking on its shitty VCR stereo combos they used to market as futuristic. Almost 40 years later and it's like yesterday. My mom worked in a daycare in the mid to late 80s and one of the mom's kids were named Madison and Chelsea, and neither were popular names but they were both Daryl Hannah character names at the time. I was right. A few years after watching Splash I remember that trend starting and knew why. There are still baby girls given name. I know several girls named Madison, one of them goes by Maddie. For the SSA, in the US in 1984, 42 girls born that year were given the name Madison. But the name goes back to at least 1970 for females, with 6 given that year. That's a TIL. I always assumed it was a cachet name derived from Madison Avenue in Manhattan, makes them sound upper class and creative. That movie likely saved Walt Disney Pictures from bankruptcy, as well. Kind of an important film given that it's relatively forgotten. There used to be a website that showed baby name trends by year. The name Trinity really spiked after the first Matrix movie. According to this, it's a gender-neutral name. Madison was my first ever crush. I was having feelings I'd never felt before watching that movie as a young kid. Here's a bunch of boys' names that weren't real names before that either. Slightly off topic, but Madison Avenue also gave us that infectious beat of a song, Don't Call Me Baby. My favorite Madison fact is that pitcher Madison Bumgarner once dated a girl named Madison Bumgarner. It's like the name Wendy and Peter Pan. Although Peter Pan author didn't invent it, he popularized it. But Madison is on a street sign because it was somebody's name. Last name, but still a name. In the South, it used to be fairly common to name the first girl by the mother's maiden name. Tom Hanks' character tells her that Madison isn't a real name. It still isn't. Tom Hanks' character tells her that Madison isn't a real name. And he was right. It may have started the whole last names are now first names baby naming trend. It's racist to talk about this movie because of the mountain they named after it. Disney has digitally altered the film to cover up Daryl Hannah's butt. It has the best use of the phrase bocce balls in the movie as well. Now was it more unheard of for a girl to be named Madison or Daryl? My name's Madison and I'm going to Southern Christian University. Isn't a real name. Literally the name of the 4th president. I remember a very hot porn star named Madison from back then. This movie was so weird. But now that scene makes more sense.